Okay, so this is where I'm at so far. You could see I got a little bit of a perimeter forming here. I'm actually, since these things are kind of slanted, I'm actually thinking I might go one level higher, so that way when I mulch, I can have like really nice. I could actually, dude, you know what would be kind of cool? Would be making it so it's higher, so that way when I'm farming, I'm not bending over. And it's just like pure, beautiful dirt from the mulcher. That would be kind of cool. Dude, I waste, like, well, I don't have to go bonkers about it, but, the idea is I could make it stable by reinforcing it. And then, because all this stuff is pretty, like there's worms are starting to do work in here, but it's not quite, it's not going to be quite like nutrient rich dirt until I start mulching. Okay. So, my idea is to, I don't know. I just want to experiment and have a lot of fun with it, but I am thinking about going higher so that way I'm not bending over as much. And since the bottom is going to be open to the ground, like there's no risk of water stagnating because this this part is just purely open to the ground. And I'm not really going to water this micro farm very much, like, because my goal is to have it as water efficient naturally as possible, so only the crops that could survive mild watering are the ones that are going to be grown. So let's just see how it goes. But right now, that's a pretty good size. I'm liking it. Probably going to go... Probably going to go to about here? Maybe, like, imagine this tile, one more tile over, okay? Because then I want slack space and then walkway and water. Like, I want water to flow away from the house, like kind of slop into here if it can, and then keep going naturally with the natural gradient of the property. I think that would be really cool. So, see how it goes. Looks like one of the other robins here said, hey, let's go do something else. You're grubbing too much. Or maybe they're battling for territory. They went off together, though. I'm guessing they're just saying, hey, let's party over here and check things out. But now that they're done having their meal, now I'm going to put away my tools, because I don't want to put away my tools when they're having their meal. Like, the whole point of this is to have a more natural micro farm. I don't want it to be ultra forced. I don't want any, like you heard my other video, I don't want any Frankensees or anything like that. I just, if critters get at the food first, critters get at the food first. I'm not worried about it. And right now, I haven't even planted anything yet. I think they're just glad that I upturned the roots of maybe the grass. Maybe they're finding stuff near the roots. I don't know. But, oh geez, I better put my tools away now because I don't want to disturb them. Hi there, this is Tyler Stansfield Jaggers. Welcome back to another episode of Kansas Now. This has been a really nice week. After today, I've been either in my yard working on my little teeny micro farm, or at the lake for almost 5 days straight, I think, maybe 6. So, it's been kind of good exercise-wise, And what's funny is this walk around the lake, I had so much on my mind that usually at the 3-mile mark, I'm, starting to kind of work through all the ideas in my mind and just kind of flush things out. But then today, I'm almost at the 5-mile mark, and I'm just starting to be like, oh, okay, I'm on a walk, because so many ideas, so many things going on that, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, wow, that's 5 miles in. It took to start going out of active processing time. You know what I'm saying? Where the brain can just start to begin to idle a little bit. And really, it's just kind of like, wow, But today has been really good. And the weather's good. And I saw 2 new birds in my precursor perimeter for my micro farm. And the reason why I call it a micro farm instead of a garden is because I eventually want to make an excess that I could sell at a farmer's market or something. But for right now, it's just going to be a garden probably for this year and next year. Oh, that's right. There was something I wanted to talk to you about. So for the last 3 or 4 days, I've been having this weird feeling, really weird. And it was like, I had this feeling like, oh, something's different. And what it was is I figured it out yesterday. It was that, like, I didn't have the feeling that I was forgetting to do something. Like, am I forgetting something kind of feeling? Do I have unfinished business somewhere? And the last few days, I haven't felt like that at all. And it's really weird feeling like you are on top of stuff. Because I already paid my taxes. And that's pretty much it. I just had to get my tax stuff in. Not like I made that much in many anyway last year. So that's not a big deal. But I still like to report anyway, so it's a legit paper trail. But like the only thing that I had on my mind that I felt like I was neglecting or not working on enough was doing things that were towards getting my house and property moving forward. And since this directly correlates to moving my house and property forward, it's like, oh, well, I'm working on the biggest point of not really anxiety, but almost like to-do list semi-anxiety, where it's like, oh, and I'm doing it. So that was the biggest, like, oh, I even, I fixed that crack. Remember I showed you I fixed that little crack thing? That's all fixed. And, I can make it even better later if I want to, double reinforce it, whatever. But it's a really weird feeling when you get through the fuzzy to-do list stuff and then start working on whatever was bothering you, I guess. Bothering oneself. Because now that I'm working on the area that I was most concerned about working on, I just have this feeling of like, oh, this weight's off my shoulders a little bit. And that's just really funny, you know, like the easiest way to finish something is to start something. And then the easiest way to get something to the middle is to get it a little bit away from the start towards the middle. You know, I mean, whatever, it's not a big deal. And yeah, I mean, oh yeah, that's right. There was one other thing I wanted to bring up. So you look at everybody talking about food prices. Okay, food prices are high. Is that a bad thing? Well, for restaurants, it's tough because now they got to charge more and they're going to only have so many customers, right? So the one day I was doing, I needed to pick up bricks after a lake. I think that was the day before yesterday. And I was hungry and I ended up going to Chick-fil-A for lunch. And because I just needed something then, and I don't normally get fast food, but I did that time. And I went there, and of all the fast food places, they're pretty decent. And the meal for the spicy chicken sandwich was about $10, okay, with the fries and the drink. But then I also wanted the nuggets, so the meal with the spicy chicken sandwich and the drink and the nuggets was $16 and change approximately. And then so, you know, I was like, okay, this is once in a while thing, you know, not a big deal. Definitely not going there for extreme nutrients or anything like that. I was just there because I needed something quick. And what happened was, it just got me thinking, I'm like, wow, if they probably don't want to be charging that much, but something's happening where the food, the stuff to make the food is getting more expensive, the labor, right? Up. So the rising food prices, it's a bad thing for people in general and for restaurants and stuff that are having to raise their prices more and more for their you know, precursor supplies to make things. But what if prices of food is high, but you're creating food locally? Yeah. This is how I think. I think in terms of supply and demand, where like people want food and it's at this price. You sell it at too low a price, people will get upset, right? Because you're undercutting their business. But you could sell it competitively, and nobody ever has a problem with a person that is selling their food at a competitive price, or any product for that matter that's a legit product. You could sell your product at a competitive price, okay? Then your competition usually isn't going to care. It's what they really get upset about is if you undercut or do stuff weird, okay? Price fixing, all that. But if your means of production is not too high, your cost of production and your access to labor is inexpensive, in this case I'm using my own labor, and then there might be an opportunity for profit. So that is cool. So I guess what I'm saying is, if a certain thing that everybody wants is expensive, and like just food and vegetables and fruit and, you know, basic spices and stuff are completely legit, and then so the like if it's extremely high, why not get into making food? It's just such a no-brainer, you know? And it's just like, you gotta go where the opportunities are, and you know, remember what I said about putting a price tag on something and that embarrassing kind of discomfort? Not everybody has the swagger to put themselves on display and put a price tag on their product and accept money for it, and there you go. And it's a skill set. It takes humility, but I have videos about it. That was more towards the beginning of the Kansas Now, when I was talking about game development and stuff. But it does take humility to put a price tag on something. It does take a little bit of that tenacity and fighting spirit that you want to fight against your own instinct to be shy, and fear, I guess fear of rejection too. You know, it's almost like every time you put a product out for sale, it's almost like asking a girl out, where you're like, hi, do you like me? And they're like, no. And it's like, okay. You know, but the difference is you make money instead of lose money. You know, and so the idea is it's a win-win when you sell products. And so that's the fun of it. And as someone who, I mean, I feel like I understand. I feel like I understand the basics of this stuff pretty well. And I mean, with all the AI tools have already know all the answers to the questions. Like, okay, for example, I was thinking about dried basil, right? And it was like, well, you want to do a dehydrator, or how do you want to do it? And a bunch of people are saying dehydrator. I'm not going for that. I want traditional, like where you kind of put it in a rubber band and hang it upside down. Traditional, time-honored. The tools I'm using are pretty much like traditional tools right now. I'm not going big tools or anything like that. And AI is just like, oh, okay, if you want to go without a dehydrator, you just take a rubber band, do this. And then in your mind, you'd be like, well, are there ways to maybe protect it so it doesn't have problem from critters when it's drying, things like that, you know? And AI tools like ChatGPT, Grok, all those can always give you a like, it's almost like a mini consultation where you might have to join a guild or pay someone for a consultation or know a family member or friend to give you advice, and the AI tools have already collated and processed all that knowledge to distill it into a set of instructions that you can then take and make your own with your own spin on things. Bam. Come on. The tools are free. You get like 10 free questions for the advanced AI a day, and then after that it goes to the semi-advanced AI for ChatGPT and Grok. I haven't seen any limitations yet, so it's almost like no-brainer, right? And that's with anything and everything. And the economy will respond. So what do I mean by that? Well, when there's more local farms and micro farms that start popping up around the United States, and there's competitions on the pricing, oh wow, for some reason the supply chain inefficiencies that were really causing a problem for these fruits and vegetables to be getting to these places that were really, really causing a major problem. Once there's competition from the local people and they start taking enough market share, for some reason, those things that were causing inefficient supply chain issues will have been resolved. It's so strange how that happened. It's so weird. I can't believe that. How could that have just? How could they have just resolved it? It's such a coincidence that now that they're having competition from local organic farms that aren't using the Franken crops, that for some reason the supply chain issues is making it so their prices are competitive again, and the cost of living has gone down for all Americans and all the people on the planet, because for some reason these supply chain issues were planetary. So weird. It's weird how things just are such a coincidence these days. And there's no way that these supply chain issues could have been motivated. No. There's no way that these supply chain issues could have been motivated by a profit motivation. I don't believe it. Not one bit. I don't think these little geesey duckies believe it. And I don't think you do either. That's got to be where they all had supply chain issues at the exact same time. That's got to be it. And that the cost of fuel and all these other things all kind of bubbled up at the exact same time. So we'll take a look at that. And if there's supply chain issues, I have to do my part. I have to do my part and compete. Ta-da! That's how we do it. One micro farm at a time. One little plot. One little basil. One little basil at a time. And isn't it so weird how much power individuals have? It's bonkers. Our whole lives, we've been raised and taught that you have to be selected. You have to be almost like chosen as the diamond in the rough to have any influence or any say in reality, right? Like in the film Rollerball, Jonathan was heavily rebuked and chastised because Stay in your place. Do not affect corporate decision making. But Jonathan did. Jonathan was getting nosy. He was poking his nose where he shouldn't. And he was punished multiple times. I'm not doing that. I don't. If the system, that's the beauty of reality, right? And that's why I do feel like there was a creator, divine creator for our reality. I absolutely do. And the reason why is because the rules are so obvious that it is like, it's so efficient, and it's so obvious that it's self-evident, right? So it's even more obvious when there's secondary systems that you could tell have been influenced by humans, right? So, like economies. You could tell when the economy is no longer following its own rules, right? It is so obvious where things aren't circulating on purpose, all this stuff. And so that's not my fault if they want to do that. It has nothing to do with me. If the prices of food, the price of all these things are so bonkers, sell food. What else is there? What else can we analyze as what else can we analyze that could be potential profitable sector? And right now, food is, if you can efficiently create, grow, distribute, and compete, it's going to be profitable because the demand is higher than ever. Because my theory is, I think the reason for obesity right now is actually because of starvation. And then you might be like, what are you talking about? You sound crazy on that. But there was a study on one second. There was a study on a woman that was very wealthy, and she could buy whatever she wanted. And she loved chicken. And she ate chicken every day. And it wasn't even fried all the time. It was only fried some of the time. She said, chicken. And then when they did the autopsy on her, because she died at a young age, like I think it was the 40s or 50s or something, and then they're like, well, what did this lady die from? Did she have a heart attack from all the chicken or what? And didn't have a heart attack. She died of starvation. Now, what does that mean? Because chicken is generally a lean protein. There's lots of nutrients in it, but there isn't all of them. It takes a wide spectrum to do some of the little things with the chemicals in the brain and liver, all that stuff. But you talk to a nutritionist, they're just going to say, like, too much of a good thing, right? And that, in my opinion, is the cause of obesity in the United States. People are actually starving because their caloric and protein intakes are only satisfying part of the spectrum of what people need at a like micronutrient level, and so they're still hungry. And the food maybe is salty, and then it makes you hungrier for saltier food, and so it becomes a cycle. So in my opinion, I think that America does not have an obesity epidemic, but it has a starvation epidemic. You're starving to death. Do I have any facts to back that up? Or am I just opining? This is the problem when you got no girlfriend or no like anchors, you know, to like occupy your mind. You can just analyze things, and I do. And what's happened is, ever since I switched to a wider spectrum diet, my friends and stuff are always think I'm this like garbage pail because I can eat tons of food and not have a problem. But the reality is, I'm not obese because I don't need to eat a ton of stuff during the day, because I'm just having, you know, wide spectrum diet stuff. And it's just, I'm not starving all the time. I'm not super hungry, but if there's food, I can eat it. It's like a whatever, you know. I'm definitely not emaciated by a long shot. Look at these cheeks. Like, you could fit like half of Topeka in this one cheek. So, you know, that's what's going on. So, do you kind of see how we're creating a strategy for success? For, yes, it's Topeka. Yes, it's Kansas now. But we're manifesting at very small steps and taking control back of our planet. Because it is my belief that the profit motive for stuff is not a bad thing. And the issue is not the mega corporations that are generating all this food. Without them, people would be starving, like not even getting enough basic caloric intake. What I'm saying is that we've forfeited so much responsibility of our food security to large agribusiness that we've forfeited some of our vitality, sovereignty as well, where the people are so much brain fog, they'll think like, oh, I can do that. That's what that guy does, or that girl I know does stuff, and I don't have the energy. I can't. I don't know. I just don't know, you know. We used to call them sad sacks, where they're just like bummed out, right? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. You know. So funny, right? But we got control. And who is we? The subscribers to Overidon TV in Kansas now. We're in charge. That's right. Because we're just going to know, we're just going to use common sense and like bring value to our own lives, and then learn from mistakes. Take care of biz every day. I mean, nobody, in general, most people are just like scraping and trying to like figure out how to make $1. They're not like creating regenerative systems, you know, or and if they do, like some people are, because otherwise how would have ChatGPT and all these things known so much, right? So some people are figuring things out, you know, but we're going to change the face of the entire planet. And I think it's going to go beyond Earth. I really do. I feel like Earth is going to be the starting place for prosperity, because here's my plan. First of all, my first goal is I want to grow a potato. I want to be able to grow basil, basic stuff. I want to have a potato or some basil or both in the next 2 years. If I could do that, That's a good start. After that, I want to see, if I can grow more food, sell it at the farmer's market, start picking up steam there, right? Because I'm still going to be working on game stuff anyway. And after that, after I'm kind of more confident with the farmers markets, maybe some of the local markets, maybe start branching out, putting the dried, non-perishable stuff, really simple, online, whatever. And then slowly but surely, if I can, you got to be making a lot of money to have an employee, someone to help, because I don't want to do any under the table stuff. Like, people have already been talking to me about stuff. It's like, dude, A, you're making more money than I am. B, I'm poor. C, I don't want to do any under the table stuff because I don't want anything coming back to me in the long term. Okay, so I want to do everything above board. Bam. Very transparent. Simple. And the reason why is the goal is I want to be earning enough to generate some local income to be one of the businesses that are offsetting some of the city debt, because let's say I get more than one property or something within city limits and I do well with it, the property value will go towards property tax and help the city. Bam. Federal tax will go towards the federal debt. State tax goes for the state debt. And the goal is, after I'm all set, and after I'm making a potato, my goal is there's going to be a lot of other local farmers that are starting to do well. Like, once people find out that I can make a potato, you're going to see local farmers pop up everywhere. It's like, that's what's going to happen. But people need that first person to show them something's possible, and then they try it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a very human nature. But after I do that, I want to be part of instead of being part of the problem, I want to be part of the people that are generating revenue that will help balance Topeka's city budget. Hey, how cool would that be? And there's nothing greedy about wanting to positively contribute to the economic health and viability of your immediate community. And so that's the first, I guess technically second step. And then just Control C, Control V. So first we're just going to start with a potato, and then maybe a basil or two. Let's see how it goes. But yeah, that's the idea. That's how we do it. This is Tyler Stansfield Jaggers with Kansas Now. Hope you have a beautiful day here, and keep on making your dreams a reality, and enjoy life.